Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Jay Burrow. I didn't get to make my video yesterday because I had to go to work. But a little bit of a recap of what happened yesterday's game. We went up 3-1. I think the team was a little bit overconfident, or they might have, I don't know what happened, but they played a pretty good game today, considering they were going up against Roy Halladay, who was an absolute beast on the mound. Even though he still didn't have a game that he's capable of. I mean, he still had a really good game, but not a game that he was capable of doing, like no-hitting the Reds in the first series. But the Giants very well could have won this game today. They had all the chances in the world to win this game. We had a lot more chances than the Phillies did today. Not to take anything away from the Phillies or anything. They had a really good game today. Their hitting woke up a little bit. But they just looked like the better team out there today. They were more confident, and their backs were against the wall this game, and they're a little worried. So they, when teams have their backs against the wall, they have a better chance of outcome, depending on what the team is. So, Tim Lincecum pitched a really good game today. There was kind of an incident where Halladay was bunting, and there was a runner on first and second, and Halladay was up to bunt, and the ball bounced off home plate, and then it bounced off home plate, and then it went foul. The rule is, when the ball is bunted, if it hits the plate and stays on the plate or goes in front of the plate, it's fair. But if it bounces off the plate and then it goes into foul territory, then it's foul. And you could see, if you watch the game, the ball was bunted and it went foul. That's why Halladay just stood right there in his place, because he had the best shot out of anybody else to see where the ball went. So he just stayed there. Okay? But then the Giants missed out on an opportunity to throw it to third, and Buster Posey leaned back to throw it to third after the missed call. He threw it to third, and Pablo Sandoval wasn't on the fucking base. I can't tell you how crucial that was for us in this game. I mean, I understand, you don't know what's going on because the guy's just standing there, all the confusion and all that, this and that. But when you're a ball player and you're in the big leagues, you have to be, the base is the first thing you have to go for, especially on a tight play like that. And I'm not trying to be hard on Sandoval or anything. I know the emotions of the game probably got to him, probably one of the biggest games of his career. But, you got to go back to the basic fundamentals of baseball when you're doing that. I mean, you just can't let that happen. And I know players are going to make mistakes sometime or whatever. But you just got to be a little bit more aware of what's going on in the game. Not to take anything away from him, even though he hasn't had a very good year this year. He had a really good game last game and came up clutch for us. And I'm not trying to take anything away from the guy. But in games like that, in situations like that, when the game pretty much determines the outcome of that one play, you have to get it done. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay, our third base play hasn't been very good in the playoffs. We had Fontenot in the beginning. He made a few errors in one game. But you can only ask for so much out of a player. Because these are the only guys we have right now. This is the playoffs. You don't have an option of getting more guys. You don't have an option of playing more guys. That's just the way it is. But after that bunt, the runner was safe at third. But luckily, Sandoval had enough time to throw Halladay out, because he was standing at the fucking plate like, okay, well, this is foul. Because he saw it go foul. But in baseball, you can't just assume shit. Okay? When you get a bunt laid down, or you hit a ground ball, or you hit a fly ball, you got to be aware of what's going on, and you got to run down the line. I don't care who you are, what position you play. That's basic fundamentals of baseball. If you hit something that could possibly be fair or foul, you just got to run anyway. You got to just run until the umpire says it's foul. Okay, so there was a mistake on our part, and then there was a mistake on their part. And Sandoval capitalized on that and threw it to first, and we got one out. Okay, and then their next hitter comes up, and he hits a pretty well hit ball to Huff. He goes down for it, and it bounced off him, and it went in the outfield, and they ended up scoring 2 runs. And that ended up being the game right there. And that was just the beginning of the game. You know, Lipscomb was pitching a very good game, and it just sucks to have the winning runs pretty much happen on something like that. You know, you can't make every single play. I mean, if you've been following the Giants in the playoffs, we've had really good luck against the Braves, where a ball went under Brooks Conrad's legs, and we came back and ended up winning that game, and pretty much winning the series with that game because it was such a big win for us, a comeback win. You know, Chase Utley had in the last game, Chase Utley had a really hard hit ball to him. But like I said in my other video, you know, I'm glad they reversed that. They officially called it an error, but then they came back and they changed it into a hit. I understand that. You know, and it wasn't really Huff's fault today. Huff's a really good first baseman. He makes clutch plays all the time. That wasn't the problem. It was just a really hard hit ball, you know, and the emotions of the game and what was happening at that moment and time, it just bounced off of them. They came around, got 2 runs, and, you know, it ended up being crucial in this game. And I believe that was like the 3rd inning or so. The game was yesterday. I didn't have enough time to make my video yesterday, so I'm sorry if some of my stats are wrong. But that's what happened in the beginning of the game to put us in a hole. But after that, after that inning, Lincecum was just on fire. I mean, the guy is just a stud. Either way you look at it, and so is Roy Halladay, Doc Halladay. He's a stud too, and it's really hard when you go down by 2 runs and Halladay's on the mound. It's just almost impossible to come back and pull out a victory. And that momentum just kind of carried with us for the rest of the game. I mean, Ross had a big hit in this game still, but he had, I believe, 2 strikeouts. Buster Posey, I believe, went 0 for 4. And in the 8th inning, when he came up to bat, he struck out. Actually, Ryan Matson, the reliever for the Phillies, who's been really good this series against us, came up in the 8th inning when we really needed some hits and really needed some runs, struck out the side. And then right after that, Jason Worth came up, the stud that he is, and he hit a ball in deep right field, and it put him up 4-2. And at that time, it's really hard to come back from, especially when you have such a great closer in Brad Lidge coming up in the 9th inning, and the bottom of our lineup coming up. I mean, we're a lucky team, but luck only takes you so far in certain games and what's happening. But I really believe we could have came back in this one, knowing what we've done in the past, in the playoffs here, coming back from behind, showing that we could overcome adversity, and playing our hearts out. But, you know, luck's only going to win you a few games. It's not going to win you every game. And unfortunately, we couldn't come out with a victory in this game. I mean, we played hard, but the Phillies played harder today, and I can't take anything away from them. But if you would ask me, do you still think we're going to win this series? I would have to say yes, because I really believe that this team right here is the team of destiny. I know we don't have the best team on paper, and I've said that in my videos before. You know, nobody's really counted us in there. You know, from game 1 in the season, I never thought we would come this far. You know, and I'm really proud of my guys for coming up in the clutch and showing that they could do something in the postseason. You know, I always believe that as a Giants fan the past 2 or 3 years, that if we just could have a good record and pull it off to make it to the playoffs, that we would have a very good chance at winning it just based on our pitching. I mean, if this team had a better offense like the Phillies does, I mean, they'd be unstoppable. You know, but this team's based off pretty much a whole bunch of scrappers from different teams all put into one. And I believe we lost this game today because we automatically thought we had it won. Well, not today, yesterday. I thought they thought, you know, well, we just have this in the bag, you know, got a little bit overconfident, and that's the one thing you can't do against this Philadelphia Phillies team. I can't say any more about the Phillies, man. They're just a really good team. I mean, their pitching is identical to ours, but they have a lot better offense than ours, and their base running is about 20 times better than ours. I mean, I can't say enough about their base running, man. I mean, every one of their guys has potential to steal a base when they come up to bat, and it's not like that for the Giants. You know, we have Torres. You know, he's about the only guy he's the fastest guy on the team. You know, other than that, we got Pat Burrell, Aubrey Huff, you know, really good hitters, but they're older and they can't run as fast. You know, Buster Posey, one of our best hitters, ain't that fast because, you know, he's a catcher and he's always down on his legs, and, you know, it's kind of hard for him to always use his legs like that. You know, and the Phillies are a lot better team than we are. I'll be the first one to say that, and any Giants fan to say that they aren't a better team than us is a liar. But in the playoffs, it doesn't matter who's a better team. It's about who could come out and grind it out and get the win. And unfortunately, that's not what we did today. And I was really disappointed that we couldn't finish it at home. But that doesn't mean I'm not hitting the panic button just yet. We only got to win one game, and we've proven that we can do that. The first two games at Philly, we won the very first one, but we almost won the second one, but we came back and lost. We almost had it won until the later innings, of course, and then they piled up the score on us. You know, Rollins hit a double, a triple. I don't know. I think it was a double or a triple in Game 2, and he scored 3 runs in 1 hit when there was a controversial strike 3 call on him. So and I'm not one to make excuses. Umpiring goes for both ways. You're going to get your calls, and you're not going to get some calls. You know, but I really believe that we can do this, and I'm not going to hit the panic button until the Game 7 and the 9th inning, and there's 2 outs, and one of our players grounds out to an out or pops up into an out. That's when I'll hit the panic button. You know, I'm never going to give up on my team until it's done and said and done. You know, nobody's given us any of these series, and no one will ever give us any of these series. Even though when we finish this and we go on to the